Communicating a repair to a client needs to not be something you just shoot from the hip every time. You want to be precise with your words. Steve Martin, in his master class, when he's talking about setting up jokes, going from one joke to the other, he talks about how you need to be precise, because when you're precise with your script, your jokes, there's less dead air. And precision leads to the next moment. Now, I know he's talking about comedy, but it's the same thing in communicating anything, and in sales specifically. Now, I know a lot of you techs don't like to consider yourself in sales, but it's somebody's making a sale every time. Our job, especially when we go out in a maintenance call, is to identify potential issues so that we fix them now, instead of having the client call us at the peak of the season to have us come out to their house and do the repair at a discount, rather than allowing us to go see that brand new customer with an 18-year-old unit. So we want to be able to convince the clients that this is in their best interest to do now. And you guys all know that when do these systems break down? The hottest day of the year. So we got to, if we believe that, we got to be able to communicate that to our clients. So there's a lot of repairs we may come across during a tune-up or a maintenance visit. Before we explain what the repair is, we need to explain to the clients how their system operates. We've got to give them a visual in their head. So when we express the repair, they understand where it affects their system. So we can give this lesson really quickly. And I like using a yellow pad whenever I explain anything to a client. In today's day, I'm recording this during the COVID pandemic. One thing I'd recommend, if you get those whiteboards, just have whiteboard, because if you can take them outside or you're sitting quite a distance from them, if you got a whiteboard, and I'm talking about those hard ones with the dry erase, a dry erase board, you can write and draw and do whatever you need right there, and they'll be able to see from across the room. But I'm going to do my best right here with a whiteboard here in my living room. Sorry I don't have a thicker pen than a Sharpie, but let's see how this works. So we come down from the attic, the closet, garage, wherever you were doing the outside unit, wherever you were. You just got done diagnosing the system. You come in and you've got a repair. So we want to start out by asking them, is it okay if I share with you how your system works to help explain a challenge we're having? Okay, great. Now the AC unit is what you have out on the side of your house. It's that box. You're probably aware of what it is, and forgive my artistry here, but there's a little fan in there, and it's got louvers on the side. The AC unit is connected to your indoor unit, your furnace, which in your case is in the attic. So here's your furnace, and there's an indoor coil on top of your furnace, connected to your furnace. And that indoor coil is connected to this outdoor coil by some copper pipes. Now, inside your furnace is a blower. Again, forgive my artistry. It sucks the air in here and blows the air across this coil. Now, the job of the outdoor unit is when your thermostat calls for cooling, it sends a signal to your furnace, which then sends a signal to the unit outdoors. Then the compressor, which is inside of this unit, comes on and starts pumping refrigerant through these copper pipes. So it pumps them from here through this indoor coil, where heat that was in your house passes through this coil. It is removed from the air and then comes outside here. Now there's another coil, an outdoor coil in this unit. What happens, this fan is blowing, it's sucking air through these, through the coil on the outside, and blows the heat that was in your home out the top of that unit. So if you ever go outside and put your hand over the unit outside, you feel heat. That was heat that used to be in your home. Now, one of the most common repairs that technicians prefer not to do is a coil clean. We know that over time, coils get dirty. And in some cases, it's a pain in the butt to clean, especially in those cases where you have to disconnect it fully from the system, pump it down, disconnect, clean it outside, rebraze it. That's a pain in the rear repair. But it's the right thing to do sometimes for the client. And then other times, let's say a package unit, you pull the top off, real easy to get to. So depending on the situation, hopefully your company has different prices for those different scenarios. But the script for the coil should be simple. Now, if you're taking pictures with your iPad, it's great to take a picture and show them what their coil looks like. Another thing, especially if it's in the attic and they can't be right there to do it, when you take your finger, wipe it on that, you got those black lines on your finger. So, assuming that's what you do, here's my script for that. And of course, this comes after we've just explained how the system operates. Okay, so Mr. Smith, here's a picture of your coil, the indoor coil. And this is a picture of my finger after doing a quick swipe across the coil. Now, what do you think that is? They're going to see the black lines, they're going to say dirt. You're going to go right. The number one cause of air conditioner failures is dust. Over time, dust accumulates and it reduces airflow. Now, one of the most common places for this to occur is on the indoor coil. One of the jobs of the coil is to remove humidity. And in doing so, moisture that collects on the coil grabs dust that gets past your filter, causing a thin layer to build up. Now, the more dust in your coil, the quicker it builds up. Make sense? Well, the thin layer of dust reduces the efficiency of your system because the dust makes it harder for it to remove heat. Now, how much it's costing you to overpay the utility company right now is hard to say, but I have read that even just the thinnest layer of dust, about the thickness of a business card, can reduce the efficiency as much as 12%. And it only gets worse. Now, for me to clean that coil, I'm going to need to remove and this was where you'd explain the situation, the work that it will take to clean that coil. And we clean it with an environmentally safe cleaner. We brush it, rinse it, reassemble it, and I can get that all done for you today for only $189, whatever your cost is for that coil. Would you like me to take care of that today? It's important to get them to get you a yes there before you move on to the next repair. And sometimes that's the only repair. Now, in addition to this little video is about the script on just talking about the coil clean. We got to remember when we go in the home and we find they had the dirty filter, this is where you can bring that up. Now, remember your filter's dirty, you hadn't changed it. This is the result of that. And now they understand, the importance of changing that filter. Sometimes we tell them, yeah, you should change it every 30 to 60 days or depending on the filter type. This is also your opportunity at the end if this is your only case or if there's a couple other items, usually you got a dirty coil, you're going to have a dirty blower wheel. This is your opportunity to say, we have this product. After you get them to agree to cleaning all this, you say, here's another product we have. Now we talk about the better filtration we can offer them that will prevent this or greatly reduce the likelihood of this happening again. Now, when we find a dirty blower, it's great to have a picture of it on your iPad where you can show them the best you can the dirt on those fins inside there. But they often can't tell what that is. Those photos are hard to get sometimes. If you got a wet wipe, take that wet wipe, take it down one of those blades, and on a wet wipe, that builds up that dirt real easy and it looks pretty disgusting. So store that maybe in a little baggie in your pocket and save it for when you come down out of the attic or garage, wherever you are. So you bring this to them. You see this picture here, and they say, yes, see what that looks like. It looks like dirt. Yeah, it's got quite a bit built up. In fact, here's, just from swiping across one of the blades to show you how much is in there. Now, that's a problem because these blades are curved, and as they build up in dirt, the curve changes the shape of the blade. which reduces the amount of air that the blower can move, which decreases the system efficiency and results in higher utility costs. Now, to clean the blades, I need to disconnect all the electrical and remove the blower assembly. Take it outside, remove the motor, and then clean and dry the assembly. Brush and wipe down the motor and reattach the motor, reinstall the assembly in your furnace. Then I need to reconnect all the wiring and test it. And I can do that for only $249 or whatever your cost is. Would you like me to take care of that today while I'm here? Get a simple yes or no. One of the goals of our maintenance or tune-ups are to get the client's system running the best that it can so that it doesn't fail during the hot time of the year. That serves us both well. One, it serves the client because they don't have a system fail and have to wait and maybe have a sleepless night because it's hot. And also because they're going to be upset when that system fails just a couple months after you were out there getting it ready for the season. It helps your company because you're now doing new customers during the heat of the season, the customers other companies can't get to, at full price rather than doing your club members at a discount. So it's real important we communicate certain repairs, potential repairs, before they happen. One of the things that we check should be the capacitors. So the script for the capacitors, pretty simple. So Mr. Smith, during our maintenance, one of the things I do is I check the capacitors in your system. Now we do this because the capacitors help protect the fan and blower motors in your system. When the capacitors fall out of the recommended tolerances, the motors can overamp and fail. And when do you think that they'll most likely fail? Right, on the hottest day of the year. So here's your run capacitor. And by the way, you can take it right out of the system. You could show them right on it what it reads. The rating is printed right here on the side, and it says that this is a 10 microfarad capacitor. But when I put my meter on it, it's only reading 8.5 microfarads. It's failing. Now I have one in my truck, and I can replace it for only $129 now, so that you can reduce the chances of a $350 motor failing later. Would you like me to take care of that while I'm here today? Another potential failure of an air conditioning unit would be the contactor. Now, before I go into the script, I recommend you take their existing contactor out of the system. It doesn't take but a minute to do that. And when you come into the home, show the client, have both a brand new contactor and their contactor. So say, Mr. Smith, this is your contactor. Now it is a high voltage switch that turns on the compressor, which is inside that outdoor unit. Now, as you can see, it's worn out and pitted. Now, one of the risks of a pitted contactor is that it can weld itself shut. And when that happens, your compressor cannot shut off. And after a few hours of running, it will begin to ice up and could cause severe damage or failure. Now, a failured compressor can cost $1,200 even under warranty, and it could take up to 10 days or more just to get that part. Now I have a new contactor here, and I can replace it right now for only $329. Now while you're doing that, you're offering the price, you're holding both in front of them. Which one would you like me to put back in your unit? You're often going to get the new one. One of the most frustrating repairs for a client is when you were out in, let's say, May, you did your tune-up, and then in July, they get a failed fan motor. It's expensive repair, and they're pissed that you were just here. Why didn't you know it was failing? And even if you did communicate it to them, sometimes they're still going to put the blame on you. And that's why it's important for us to be really good about communicating the importance of taking that repair. So when you come across a motor with a high amp draw, here's your script. So during our maintenance, we look for items that are beginning to failure. We want to get your system ready for the extreme heat so that you don't have any sleepless nights because of a failed system. If your system breaks down on the hottest day of the summer, you're not going to be very happy with me. So your outdoor fan motor is drawing more amps than it should. Now right now that means that you're overpaying the utility company a little bit. But the bigger concern is that the motor is going to overheat and fail. Now, I don't know when it's going to fail, but there's a little play in the shaft and signs of oil where there shouldn't be. Now, it's common for a motor to fail in a unit this age, so we do stock these motors on our truck. And I can replace it now for only $359. Now, would you like me to take care of that today? Boom. You're telling the customers what the potentials are, and it's real important at this time too to get them to fully acknowledge. Now, we've given the script and they're going to tell you yes or no at that point. Now, there's a whole nother training, and I'll maybe do another video series on that about the overcoming the objections later. But at this point, if you believe they need these repairs, use your passion for the benefit for them to do that repair now versus later.